Look at this seal. Now look away. When you come back tomorrow, it will remember your face, not your species, not your general appearance, your specific face. Max Planck researchers just proved harbor seals can identify individual humans with 85% accuracy. They remember faces they've only seen once for months. But nobody asks the real question: why do seals have this ability? They didn't evolve around humans. We've only been in their oceans for 10,000 years, a blink in evolutionary time. Yet somehow, their facial recognition software works on us. This isn't about cute ocean puppies. This is about an intelligence that evolved completely separately from primates, but arrived at the same solution: know thy neighbor's face. The study began in late 2024 at the Max Planck Institute for Ornithology in Germany. Dr. Sarah Hendricks noticed something during routine seal cognition tests. The seals seemed to respond differently to different researchers, not responding to lab coats or voice. They were identifying faces. So Dr. Hendricks designed a proper test: 8 harbor seals, 50 different human face photographs. The question: can seals learn to recognize and distinguish individual human faces? The seals were shown photo pairs. Touch the correct face with their nose, get a fish reward. No prior exposure to these people, just faces on screens. The results shocked the research team. By session 10, seals were identifying correct faces with 85% accuracy. They distinguished between faces with similar features, glasses, hair color, things that require detailed facial mapping. Then came the real test: memory. Researchers waited 3 months, no exposure to those faces, then tested again. The seals still remembered 78% accuracy. And here's the kicker: when introduced to the actual humans from the photos, the seals recognized them immediately. They transferred from 2D images to 3D faces instantly. Stop for a second. Think about what this means. Seals evolved facial recognition for seal society, recognizing pod members, identifying potential threats or mates. That system evolved over 20 million years, but somehow it works on humans. A species seals have barely encountered in evolutionary terms. Imagine if your smartphone's facial recognition automatically worked on alien species you'd never seen before. That's what's happening here. And it raises a question nobody's asking: how good is their facial recognition system that it works across species? The answer connects to something happening in human technology right now. But first, you need to understand how facial recognition evolved in the first place, and why it evolved twice. Facial recognition is rare in nature. Most animals recognize individuals through scent, sound, or movement patterns. But faces, that's neurologically expensive. You need dedicated brain regions, complex processing, memory storage. Evolution only builds this when social complexity demands it. Primates evolved facial recognition about 90 million years ago. We needed it. Complex social groups, coalitions, knowing who's friend, who's foe, who owes you a favor. Faces became our social database. Pinniped seals, sea lions, walruses evolved it separately about 20 million years ago. They needed it too. Colonial breeding sites. Mothers finding pups among thousands. Males recognizing rivals. 2 completely different brain architectures. Same solution. Convergent evolution. But here's where it gets wild. The Max Planck team tested whether seals could recognize faces from different angles. Full frontal, profile, 3/4 view, even partially obscured faces. The seals adapted. They recognized the same face across viewing angles. This requires 3D mental modeling, building a complete facial map from partial information. Then they tested expression recognition. Happy face, neutral face, angry face, same person, different expression. Could seals still identify them? 85% accuracy maintained. Seals weren't just memorizing a single image. They understood that faces are 3D objects that change expression but maintain identity. That's sophisticated processing. That's what human facial recognition technology tries to replicate. So why did this research only happen in 2025? Why did we assume seals couldn't do this? Because we operated under the marine mammal stereotype. Smart, yes. Playful, sure. But we studied dolphin intelligence, whale communication, orca hunting strategies. Seals were cute background animals. Research funding tells the story. Between 2015 and 2024, dolphin cognition studies received 12 times more funding than seal cognition studies. 12 times, despite seals being more numerous, more accessible, and equally complex socially. We missed their intelligence because we weren't looking for it. The tourism industry shaped assumptions too. Dolphin tourism, $2.1 billion. Whale watching, $2.5 billion. Seal tourism, barely tracked. Why? Marketing narrative. Dolphins are intelligent and friendly. Whales are majestic and emotional. Seals, cute and playful, not intelligent, just adorable. That narrative shaped research priorities. Scientists study what gets funded. Funding follows public interest. Public interest follows marketing narratives. And here, the system self-reinforcing loop. No research on seal intelligence means no documented intelligence, means continued belief that seals aren't particularly smart, means no research funding. Dr. Hendricks' study was initially rejected by 2 grant agencies. Reason: insufficient evidence that seals possess facial recognition capacity worthy of study. And policy followed assumptions. Wildlife viewing guidelines assume animals see humans as generic threats. Keep distance, 50 meters for seals. But if seals recognize individual faces, they remember individual behaviors. That researcher who was gentle 3 years ago remembered. That tourist who threw a rock also remembered. Rescue organizations noticed this. Marine animal rescuers reported seals approaching the same humans years after rehabilitation. Specific humans. Not just any human who helped. Those reports were dismissed as anecdotal. Seals probably recognize scent or voice, scientists said. Wrong. They remembered faces. We just weren't testing for it because our assumptions said it was impossible. When Dr. Hendricks finally published in November 2025, the wildlife tourism industry had a crisis. If seals remember individual humans, existing harassment policies are inadequate. A tourist feeding a seal isn't just breaking rules. They're teaching that seal to associate their face with food. That seal will remember. That seal might approach other humans, expecting food, creating dangerous interactions. One bad actor doesn't just ruin it for everyone. They literally program seals with facial-specific expectations. The same applies to harassment. Seals that are chased or harassed by individual tourists will remember those faces and may generalize fear to similar-looking humans. One person's cruelty creates cascading effects. The system didn't account for memory because the system assumed seals weren't watching. The neural evidence explains how. MRI scans of seal brains during facial recognition tasks show activity in the fusiform face. Area region analogous to the human facial recognition center, but the structure is different. Seals evolved this capability independently. Different neural pathways, different processing architecture, same result, individual face identification and memory. This is nature's version of parallel computing. Two different systems solving the same problem using completely different algorithms. So what's the human cost of missing this? Every year, thousands of seals are managed in fisheries, culled as competitors for fish stocks. The operating assumption: they're animals reacting to stimuli, not individuals with memories and relationships. Rescue workers who rehabilitate seals often wonder if the animals remember them. They do. They absolutely do. Those workers formed relationships without knowing the animals remembered their specific faces. Wildlife photographers who return year after year to the same colonies and swear the same seal approaches me. They're right. The seal knows their face. We've been building relationships we didn't know we were building, having impacts we didn't know we were having, being watched and remembered by animals we assumed saw us as generic threats. This was discovered in 2025, but here's what's happening right now with human technology. Facial recognition AI is controversial. Privacy concerns, bias problems, questions about consent. But here's what we're missing. Nature invented facial recognition first. Seals have been doing this for 20 million years, and their system has a feature our AI lacks: cross-species recognition. Seal facial recognition evolved for seals, but automatically works on humans. Other seal species, potentially any face-like pattern. Our AI needs training data for each species, each race, each age group. Seal brains just work. They generalized facial recognition across wildly different face structures. Nature's facial recognition is more advanced than ours. We're building technology that seals already have, and they're not worried about privacy implications. The Max Planck study is changing policy. Marine tourism guidelines are being rewritten. Individual accountability matters now because animals remember individuals. Rescue protocols are adapting. If seals remember faces, consistent handlers build trust faster. Rehabilitation success rates may improve. Conservation takes on new meaning. When you protect seals, you're not just protecting a species. You're protecting individuals who remember, recognize, and build relationships across species boundaries. But the larger lesson is about parallel evolution. Intelligence evolved multiple times, in multiple ways. Primate facial recognition, pinniped facial recognition, completely separate, equally sophisticated. We don't have a monopoly on clever solutions. We're one implementation among many. This is why we investigate verified science. Next video. Fish can feel pain. Liverpool University just confirmed what the fishing industry denied for 100 years. The neural evidence will change how you think about 2.7 trillion deaths every year. Real research, real implications, real wonder. Subscribe for verified animal science.